Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's that time of the month again. It's time for finished pages. I'm going to show you my combined finished pages from February and March because I went on vacation toward the middle of February and I only had 5 pages done. So I decided not to film such a short finished pages and instead combine it with my March finished pages for a total of 15 finished pages, which is pretty good because I also didn't get back until mid-March. So I basically did the same amount of pages as I would do in a month, and I pretty much was on vacation for an entire month, so I think I did a good amount. So let's first start with the Coco Wyo Cozy Corner. So this is the, this is not the Amazon printed one, this is the one that you can get at like Walmart, Barnes & Noble, whatever, on thicker paper. And I wanted to try out the set of Copic Chow markers that I brought back from Japan, so I decided to try them out on this book with this paper instead. And I did this train page because I was feeling inspired by being in Japan and taking the train so often. So I did this nice springtime train page. This was all Copics except for some of this gray in the background here for the rocks. That was Ohuhu because if you watch my haul video where I talked about that exclusive set, it didn't really have hardly any gray tones in it at all, so I did have to pull that from my Ohuhus, but everything else is Copic marker. And I tried to do the thing again with the dots in the trees to kind of make it look flowery, but I don't know. It looked good on my sand down here on the path, but it just doesn't turn out on trees for me. So I think I need to just stop trying that technique and do something else. I did the technique for the wood grain though down here, and there's a little bit of glitter gel pen. It's on the green for the train crossing right there. Yep. And then just some white highlights in the windows and on these lights up here. Yeah. So that's another page out of this book. It's good. I remember doing this page in February, so I know this is a February page out of Girl Moments by Coco Wyo. And of course I did the airport page. This was like right before I left for my trip, so I wanted to do this one, and I did a sunrise in the back instead of a sunset because I usually fly early in the morning. I prefer that. And I did the highlights with the yellow Posca paint pen, and I used white paint to go over the clouds in the back and to do like just a few stars up here in the sky as well, because I think it's very, very early in the morning. The sun is just starting to rise. Yeah, I'm actually really, really happy with how this page turned out. I really like my sky in the background, and I also like the flooring and my highlights. And then I tried to do like a little airplane back here, like a Delta or United or American Airlines plane back there. They like the white and blue, just for something different. Yeah, very happy with how that page came out. I think I got 2 more books from February right here immediately. I did do 2 Valentine's Day pages. It's not as big of a holiday to me as like Christmas or Halloween, so I only have 2 Valentine's books, but that is good enough for me. I have My Gothic Valentine by Deborah Muller, and I've done quite a few pages in here. Let me flip. There we go. Oh, actually, I think this is the very last page in the book. I did this woman with the rose. Yeah, this is the last page. And it had some yellowing on it. I think you can kind of still see some a little bit here from this page before it that I colored years ago. This maybe is Caliart or Ohuhu markers. It's this dark brown color that yellowed. So I tried my best to cover it up, though I went around this with like a dark color, and I used some darker colors for her hat for example. That had to be dark because there was just too much yellowing coming around. And then, I don't know, you can kind of still see it stained here, and especially right here, this one's quite bad. I wanted to leave parts of her hair white, but I just couldn't because the yellowing was coming through. But actually, I do like how her hair turned out with all of the pink and red tones instead. And I'm just very happy with this one in general. I just used as many reds and pinks as I could find to just do a nice Valentine's Day page. I think I was able to salvage it from all of the yellowing from the page before. Which, I don't know, some of you guys talk about how it yellows the page in front of it as well, and it does. I don't know if you can see it very well on the video. It doesn't come through to the front of this page, but the back of it is quite yellowed, actually. So yeah, but as you can see, this newer Ohuhu markers, there's no yellowing on the back, and there's nothing on this one. The older formula of that, or like I said, maybe it's the Kelly art, something is just not quite right with those. I did use a white gel pen to do the lace edge of her hat and the lace edge of her dress down here. And then just some white highlights in her eyes. And there's actually a little bit of glitter gel pen on the hearts in the background. My other Valentine's Day book is 50 Romantic Miniatures, of course, by Camellia Angel Kova. You guys know she's one of my favorite artists, so naturally I have most of her books. And I did this house. This little, like, coffee or hot chocolate house, and I used all of my pastel markers on this one, and I'm quite happy with how this one turned out as well. You know, I didn't used to like to color the houses in these, so I have a lot of blank pages for those, but actually I've discovered that I quite like coloring the houses. I almost exclusively used the pastel Ohuhu marker set, but I had to go in and find some darker browns for like the door and the chocolate around the strawberry as well. And I did use white paint for the icing up here around the strawberry and this little chocolate down here, and there's also just a very, very small amount of gold gel pen around the door right there for like the doorknob and like the little peephole. But yeah, that was my Valentine's Day coloring. And now we are getting into spring finally, so I don't have the Matchstick Mouse Spring book. I really need to pick it up because I love Morgan O'Brien's art. I love his Matchstick Mouse books. My collection is not complete. I think I have full set syndrome a little bit with the Matchstick Mouse. So I need to get the spring one, and I don't have it. So in lieu of that, I have the floral one because that's kind of, it's very springy, I think. I've colored a lot of pages in this one. At one point in time, I had this book set as a book that I wanted to finish, and that would be awesome, but I have too many books right now. So I just did this page with all of the different flowers. There were some in here that I've already done that would have been like good Valentine's Day pages. There's one with like a bouquet of roses, but I have done that one a couple years ago. So I just did this one in March just for spring. And yeah, I tried to use some different kind of more muted tones and then vary up the greens in the background. And for this, I made it a tiger lily, so I added the dots myself because I saw tiger lilies growing on the road all the time back home. They would grow up on the side of the road. I don't know if they're native to Missouri or if they're invasive and have just kind of spread, but they would be everywhere all over the side of the road. And I think they're one of the prettier lilies. So this one just has some white gel pen for the highlights on her hat and her whiskers. Sometimes I do the whiskers white, sometimes I don't. I think it just depends on my mood mostly. But this one I did such a dark color for the background that you couldn't see her whiskers very well, and I thought they looked a little bit better if I colored them white to stand out. I posted this one on Instagram and you guys liked it quite a lot over there. I really like these books. They're still full-size books, but the image itself is a little bit smaller. It doesn't take up the entire page, and these I can do after work. You know, I could sit down and it maybe took me 45 minutes to do this whole page, maybe an hour on the ones that are more detailed, and I can get them done because I'm just too busy nowadays to do some really elaborate pages. So this is my only color by number page for the month. I did the Mosaics color by number of Dazzling Animals by Jennifer Rawlings, or Bright Ideas Coloring, Bright Ideas Paper Publishing on Amazon. You guys know I like to do these and that I use my water-based markers for these from Ohuhu. And we have these birds. I don't know birds well enough to know what type they are. Let's see if I can zoom out further. No. Okay. So, unsure what type of birds these are, but it was another one from the cover. We have pretty much colored all of the cover pages now, just not this little jellyfish. So yes, no idea what type of birds these are. At first I kind of thought this was going to be a bit more of a wintry page. Something about it on the front with the gray in the back does kind of give me winter. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe not so much. I don't know. But yeah, this one turned out great. I liked this one because it was quite colorful. For a while we've been coloring cats and foxes and they were all orange so far in this book, so this was a bit of a break with the blue. I actually really did think it was going to be the jellyfish page at first, because one of the earliest colors that I started with was the pink, and then you move into the blue and I was like, ah yeah, it's for sure the jellyfish in the ocean, right? But actually no, it's these little birds. Again, I don't know what species of bird they are, but this one turned out fantastic. I think all of her pages do, and for me they're very minimal effort, but this is the 4x4 squares, so they are a little bit larger. If you look here, I can zoom in on this page. They are much larger than the 3x3 squares, which I'm not as big of a fan of those. So another page done in there. This would be a great book to complete. I completed the first one, so I'm slowly working my way through that one. Those, though, do take me quite a bit more time to color. Next up, we have a page out of Veggie Life by Hikaru Katz. I've already colored a page in here a while back when I first got the book, and it was that page with the jello and the fruits jumping on it like a trampoline, and it went so horribly. I tried to follow a tutorial for how to color like jello, gelatin, gummy bears, and it turned out so horrible that I kind of put this book away and didn't pull it back out. So I finally decided to, let's try another page in it. And this one came out a lot better. But this is a very simple one though. This is a mangosteen, and I already knew that, but she does label her pages here. So this one is called a mangosteen on the breeze. This one was just a simple one that maybe took me 30 minutes to do, to be honest. Just some very big, very much like block shading for me on this one with the flowers, and he's flying through. So I did try a technique that I have shared on Instagram. I do not remember who originally posted this, but they said that if you don't want, like, well, you're going to hear it didn't work very well. They said that if you don't want the red or orange tones to bleed through your white Posca pen, your white gel pen, they suggested first layering the white gel pen and then letting it dry, and then layering a green, which I did. And let me, hang on just a second, let me grab my Posca markers so you can see which ones I used. So I let the white dry, and then I used this green here, this light green. It's actually just called light green. And then I layered that, and then I let that dry, and then you do white on top of it. And then they said that it was like this color flashing theory, the color blocking that they do in makeup a lot, to get different tones to come through or to block different tones from coming through, and that the red wouldn't come through as much if you did that. And I don't know if I maybe used a wrong green. Maybe I should have used a darker green, or I don't know, but it didn't really work for me. It's not too bad on camera, but if I zoom you in, I think, yeah, you can tell. Well, maybe not on camera, but in person, very much this is pink here. It's not totally white, it's pink. So that technique didn't really work for me. I don't know if I can get it to work at all. Yeah, it's just not going to show up on camera as much, which is nice, I suppose. But in person, no, it's still very much the pink tones from the marker below have came through. And I've even tried, like, you know, okay, I color the mangosteen and then let's wait 24 hours and the next night come back and try to do the paint on it, but that ink still just bleeds through the white paint. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that, guys. But that was me testing that technique, and for me it did not work. Again, I do have a darker green in here, I think. Yeah, I do. I have this, of course this one's in Japanese, so I cannot read the color on it, but I have this darker green, and maybe I should have done the white and then the dark green and let it dry and did white over it. Maybe that's my bad. Maybe I used the wrong shade of green. So I will try that again, maybe this month coming up in April, and report back to you on if it worked. But for sure, it didn't really work enough here for me to care, because, you know, you have to do your layer and then let it dry and then do another layer, let it dry, do another layer, let it dry. For me, it was too much work for it to not come through as strong as I wanted. So, yeah. Let's try again in April before we totally write it off. But for now, using the light green, it does not work. And I had to do his face in white, by the way, because it was in black print, like this. And I used too dark a color for the mangosteen, but the mangosteen is a dark colored fruit, and you couldn't see his face. So I thought he looked a little scary with that face. So next up, before we get to my last book, I have also, of course, Camellia Angel Kova's 50 Spring Miniatures. Now this was like her very first miniature book, I believe. And the line work in this one is quite thin compared to all of her other books. And actually you can tell how much her art style has evolved. Like you can see that's so different. But if you guys have been with me for a while, you know that colored pencils hurt my hand quite bad. Even to have the little rubber grips on them doesn't really help me. So I cannot color a full page with colored pencils. That's why I use markers. So I attempted to color a page using my Sharpie and Bic fine liners. And it turned out pretty okay, I think. There's still some bleeding outside of the lines, but it's not the worst thing in the world at all. All of my pages in this book have been colored with Sharpies and fine liners just because it's so thin that I kind of have to color them with that. This book would be great if you were someone that just did colored pencils. Even to do a little bit of colored pencil shading on top of the picture is kind of hard for me. It just hurts my hands so much. I don't think it helps that I really like burnish really hard, but that's just how my grip is and that's how I do it. So I don't think that helps. I need to write my name here, of course, but my handwriting's not the greatest, so I'll make Doug do it. I did add 2 stickers to the edge here. I just had 2 little pink flower stickers. I've only done one other nameplate page before, like ever. I just never color these, and I remember that I put stickers on the line, so I thought let's just keep with that theme. And yeah, you can't really do a lot of shading or anything with the Sharpies. I don't know if they're alcohol ink or what, you know, they just call them permanent markers, but they just don't layer like that. They definitely don't blend at all. So it kind of just has to be a pretty straight coloring. I did try to do like a little bit on top. You could kind of see it a little bit on the daffodils. I did it on all the flowers, but it just sort of dried and it made no difference once it was dry. When it was wet, you could tell, but once it was dry, it was just, you can't see it at all, really. But I'm still happy with this. Of course, I had a very limited color palette with Sharpies and Bics, but I still think I managed to get something very nice. And this cute little rabbit, he's holding a clover in his mouth, too. So you could count this maybe for St. Patrick's Day, because he does have a little 4-leaf clover. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it came out, all in all. And it was another page done in this book, which is probably one of my least colored in Camellia Angel Kova books, I think, just because the lines are thin. I kind of need to get some of the like more paint style gel pens, I think, and try those out. So the last book for this month is, of course, this book that I have been working hard to complete, the new easy coloring book by Joshua Dunbar. I only did 2 pages in here in February, but I did my full 5 for March because that's how many pages I need to do to complete the book within a year, because it is 65 pages, so it's quite a big book. So you have 7 pages for me to go through right now. And the very first page is the flowers. Now that it is spring, I can color all of the flower pages in here because I do like to color seasonally a little bit. And there are a lot of flower pages in here, so get ready to see a ton of flowers right now and also in April. I did this first one with the watering can, and I'm not the greatest in the world with identifying flowers, but I think I did a pretty good job because these looks like hydrangeas. These are maybe some type of sunflower, and these are asters or daisies maybe. And then I tried to do a variety of colors on my leaves in the background so that they weren't all blending together. And then just a white highlight here on the watering can. So I did this one for February, the pancakes, because you guys know I like coloring his food. I should have done a different pink for the interior of this strawberry. It's a little bit way too neon, I think. But my banana turned out really good, as did the rest of the page. I'm really happy with the pancakes themselves. Just did some white highlights for the syrup. And then I did this big page here. What is this? Is this not a type of calla lily, maybe? I forget what it was. I had it narrowed down on Google to the exact flower that it was. Oh, maybe an orchid. Maybe an orchid. Maybe that's what it was. Again, I am so bad with flowers. I had it narrowed down though. I was looking at pictures of flowers on Google's and I'd figured it out. And I based it on an actual picture that I found on Google of this type of flower. So it had the purplish interior and these little purple dots going out into the white parts of the petals, and I think it turned out really well. Actually, I'm very happy with it. It also just looks a little bit better than like this. I think if I would have just colored the whole flower one color, it would have been a little bit bland and boring. So I'm very happy with this one. I'm pretty happy with how the leaves turned out as well. And then next up, I know I did another food one. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I have this page marked for next month still. Hold on. I swear that I did these little cakes. Let me see if it's this one. Back here. There's so many pages in here. I have trouble kind of flipping to the right one. Yep, here it is. Okay, I did this assortment of cakes in February as well. Or I guess I should say pastries, desserts, maybe. I do think that I maybe colored this one wrong after looking at it. I think that I did this like it had a layer of like a fruit preservatives in here and then the whipped cream. I think this was supposed to be a piece of cake like this, and then this was an icing on top instead of another piece of cake. I did cake, preservatives, whipped cream, cake, but I think it was icing, cake, whipped cream, cake. But oh well, it looks okay. So I had my cherry dessert here, I have my strawberry one here, and then we have this blackberry one, which I think this one turned out the best. This one is my favorite. I just loved the colors that I used on this one, and it looks so good. This one looks like the most edible out of all of them. But yeah, I kind of did this one like a little bit maybe-ish for Valentine's Day because you could have some nice fruity desserts after dinner on Valentine's Day. The restaurant that Doug and I used to go to back home always did some sort of special, usually strawberry or cherry dessert for their Valentine's Day dinner. So that's kind of what inspired me. And then I have another spring page. Here we go. This very simple one with the butterfly, which I made a monarch butterfly, and these flowers. I don't know what these are. They're not quite cherry blossoms because the cherry blossoms would have this sort of nick right here in all of the leaves. Petals, all of the petals of the flower. But we do have dogwoods here in Missouri that are a very nice pinkish color. So I assume maybe these could be dogwoods. Not totally sure. Maybe they are plum blossoms as well. Those are also pinkish. But yeah, I did a pink flower with the monarch butterfly, although I think I do associate those more with summer. Here we go. I also did this light tea dinner page as well. I don't know why. This one felt a little springtimey to me, even though it's a hot tea, which a lot of people, I think, associate with colder weather. I think it was the little sandwich with the fruits that sort of made me think about springtime. So I have the, I did like a china cup, like blue china for the teacup, and then the sandwich, I was not totally sure what was on it, so I just have lettuce and tomatoes. But, you know, that's valid, I think. I totally was not sure at all. I thought maybe it was pickles also, but then there would be so much green because I already did the green grapes, and there'd be green pickles and green lettuce. So I went with tomatoes, and I think the fleshy pink on the tomatoes is good, but it was just too much on that strawberry page earlier. So yeah, happy with that. And I don't have too many pages left. I counted, and it will take me 4 or 5 more months to finish, and then I can say I finished a big, huge book with 65 pages, and even though they are, of course, you know, larger images, I think that's still quite the accomplishment, so I'm very excited to have this book finished soon. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been my completed pages for both February and March. We're getting into spring now, so getting some more springtime coloring done. Hopefully I can come back in April with just as many, if not more, pages. See you guys then.